Hey, 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 gorgeous. Welcome back to Paddle Forward, where we navigate life's currents. Today's current is fear, and not the fear of falling off a stand-up paddleboard, but that deeper fear that's keeping you stuck in life. Spoiler alert, because you know I love them. It is not about the water beautiful. It is about your self-worth. It's about your self-doubt, and it is about you not reclaiming your space. So if you're feeling like something is holding you back from new experiences, whether it's stand-up paddleboarding, your life, something in your business or career. Maybe you're feeling like you've missed your moment in life and this is as good as it's going to get, or you're just ready to build trust and that confidence you once had when you truly believed that anything was possible and that you could do anything. This podcast is for you. By the end of today's episode, I promise that you'll look at fear differently and maybe even feel like you're ready to take the next big step, paddle or no paddle. So, if you're ready, let's grab our metaphorical paddle, our coffee, our tea, whatever is keeping you afloat, and let's get started. Welcome to Paddle Forward, Navigating Life's Currents, the unfiltered space where real life meets radical self-trust. I'm Anacani Walters, mama, SUP instructor, yoga teacher, burnout survivor, and nurse turned entrepreneur. Here we talk about it all: motherhood and identity, body image and self-love, fear and healing, business and burnout, holistic wellness, and the beauty of starting over. This is where I bring all of me and invite you to do the same. So grab your metaphorical paddle, take a deep breath, and let's paddle forward together. So I'm actually rushing to go pick up my son. I just finished teaching a baby and me yoga class, and I just admiring the ocean because I can see it from the parking lot of the gym where I teach, and just longing to get on a paddleboard and thinking of all the amazing paddlers that are in my future this summer. But then I started to think about fear and how people use it as an excuse to stay safe. And I am telling you, you would not believe how many women tell me I can't do paddleboarding. Oh, fine. People will stare. What if I look ridiculous? And for me, I've been doing it long enough and I've been doing a lot of I call it shadow work from all the things that were keeping me in this safe space and keeping me like in self-doubt, low self-esteem, low self-confidence. And so I obviously, my easy answer is, who cares what anybody thinks? Who cares if you fall? You just stand back up. And it's really easy for me to say because, again, I realize I'm on the other side of that grassy knoll. So I do have to put myself back into those shoes of the person that I was before I started paddleboarding. And the thing is that I've learned over the last like 20 years of me really doing a lot of self improvement, self work, and then my process of becoming a stand up paddleboarder to a master SUP instructor, which is what I am now, that it's not the fear of falling, it's the fear of being seen trying. It's not about the water, it's really what they believe the water will reveal. And so we use fear of judgment, of shame, and we equivalate it, and it ends up coming out as unworthiness. And most women aren't afraid of drowning. They're actually afraid of not looking perfect while they're actually staying afloat. They're afraid of what people might think when they take their space and try something new. Possibly the fear of being epically awesome at it, the fear of what people are going to think when they step into their space and step into their own strength. And so for me, I actually wasn't necessarily afraid of stand up paddleboarding. My first experience with SUP was SUP yoga. And when I say SUP, if you're new to my space, SUP is just the acronym for stand up paddleboarding. I was more afraid of what was in the water. I was definitely afraid of water. I had severe aquaphobia, and you're like, "What, Anacani, but you're a paddleboard instructor." Well, of course, I've gotten over my fear of water, but let me tell you, that did not happen until my 30th birthday. And so if you're interested in listening to that story, you can look at a different episode where I go into my whole story of how I like abruptly got over my fear of water for my 30th birthday when I decided to go on a really awesome trip with my BFFs to the Bahamas and learn how to snorkel because I was determined that there was something I was missing out in life. I didn't know what it was. It was this calling like Moana. And I was determined to not live the rest of my life feeling this feeling that I was living like a half life. And when I started, I was trying to find a yoga space where I actually felt seen and welcomed, and I enjoyed going to the yoga classes because at that point in my life when I first started this journey was a burnout survivor. I had been struggling with two heart conditions, PCOS, massive burnout from nursing and just a lot of stuff. And my body was pretty much just shutting down. I was having massive weight gain from my PCOS and stress, poor stress management at the time. And everybody kept telling me yoga, 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 and like just a healthier lifestyle. And I had the healthier lifestyle really great, but it wasn't working. Like eating salads and cutting out carbs and doing juicing and being vegan. And it worked to a certain extent, but not to the extent that I needed it to. And it never sustained. And it was usually because I wasn't managing my stress. So I had found a really great yoga studio and instructor when we were stationed in Yuma, Arizona, when my husband and I were still dating, but we were not, we had just moved in together and he got orders to Hawaii. So, of course, military wife life struggle, you find your community, you find your space, and then it's at that point when the military decides, okay, say goodbye to everything, you got to start over. So we got orders to Hawaii and I had to start all over, and I struggled. I just I hated yoga studios with mirrors. I was constantly comparing myself to everybody else because I had really low self-esteem, and I just kept like the whole time thinking, I suck. I can barely touch my toes. These chicks look awesome in their like brand new Lululemon or lemon, whatever outfits. And I'm over here in like sweats and a baggy shirt. And I'm sweating like a pig. And when they sweat, they look like they're glistening. So I just started to avoid it, which didn't make any of my stuff better. And I really knew I needed to find something. And so for my 30, I want to say for my 35th birthday, I decided I was going to go and try SUP yoga. We were in Hawaii. It was something that was popular. I found a yoga studio, like a yoga business that taught it. Shout out to our Kelsey from Yoga Floats. And I went in and I took a class and it was the most amazing experience ever. And this true feeling of what it should feel like when you do yoga, this feeling of like listening to my own body and being in my own space. And it was like truly, truly amazing. And what I loved about it is that I could not focus on anybody else. I had to focus on myself. There were no mirrors for me to reflect myself on. And it was like I felt the most sexiest, most confident, the most beautiful me I have ever felt from that first stand-up paddleboard lesson. And it was just this amazing transformation, this amazing aha moment, and that was when I knew that I wanted to do this forever, and I wanted to share this. I wanted to become a instructor, and I wanted to share this with as many people as I could because I was sure that I was not the only person that felt this way. And so bravery is not something that you can necessarily see. So for me, the bravery was just knowing that I was gonna be in open ocean, taking the risk that my fear was that I was gonna get eaten up by a shark, that they were out there looking for some little Mexican blood, and they were just waiting for me to tip my toes into the water. But I knew that I was at the end of my I was so tired and just I was I wanted change and I was desperate for it. And so I was like, I don't really have anything to lose. And if I get eaten by a shark, that just must be how Jesus wants me to meet him. So I took that leap of faith. Was I scared? Yes. Was it worth it? 1000%. And so bravery is not usually loud like some people think about it. It's really usually quiet and it's scary. It's trembling scary, like that sinking deep butterfly feeling. I think I'm gonna throw up and I think I might poop on myself. Scary. But you just take that deep breath and you take that next step. And the win isn't staying up when you're standing paddleboarding. It's about getting up again. So I tell people, like, especially with SUP yoga, like I barely do yoga on land. There's no way I could do it on the water on a paddleboard. And I'm like, you'd be surprised, one, and two, if you fall off, you just stand up and get back on. Like, that's the beauty of it. Nowhere else in any sport can you fall and be embraced by something beautiful and welcoming and nurturing as the ocean water. It is beautiful. She's there. She is waiting for you to catch you in her majesticness. And the salt water is like a healing bath water. It soothes your soul and then refreshes you if it's hot, and you just get back on. And that's the beauty of it. And so many lessons that I've learned about being able to be okay with failure and knowing that it's really not failure, it's just proof that I tried. And so paddleboarding is so special to me because it's really taught me about life, and that mindset is everything. And so I want to just talk to you about how fear is universal, but courage is how we choose to move forward anyways. There's so many things that I've done in my life and I was always afraid, but I did it anyways. From going and joining the military right after high school, from becoming a wilderness paramedic, from leaving the medical field and pursuing a side hustle that I didn't know whether it was going to make it or not, speaking on stages, touring with the United States Air Force Band in my teens, recruiting during the war with Afghanistan, getting married, having kids, all of it, all of it. Fear of whether I was going to be good enough, if I could do it, if, you know, of being hurt again, of being a failure, not making it, not making enough money, not being good enough. But I did it anyways. And sometimes I'm like, there was like somebody, I don't know, a version of myself in the future that just traveled back in time to take over my body and just make me do it. Cause sometimes it's like, I have no recollection of me actually taking that first step. It was just like, I don't even know what convinced me to try it, but I'm so happy that I did. And so, if you're a mom, I just want to let you know that you are braver than most because you have to show up every day. And you often show up scared and tired at that. But guess what, baby? You keep on paddling. And for that, I am like 100%. Wow. Amazed at parents. Amazed at parents. I did not realize how hard my mother had it until I became a parent myself. And now I'm in awe of like, how did you do it? So if today's episode is hitting home, I want you to grab my self-confidence booster guide. It's totally free. I've packed it with like mindset shifts, some audio training, because I want you to try something new, whether it's paddleboarding or not. You can totally take all of the stuff that I've given you in that guide on and off the water, even if your legs are shaking, even if you have mermaid legs. And know that if you are local and I've inspired you to try stand up paddleboarding, please join me. I've opened up my schedule for the next 3 months. I teach at Kadena Marina here in Okinawa, Japan. And if I'm not close to you, my apologies in advance if you're not close to Japan, but you can still take a SUP lesson with me. I actually have an online stand up paddleboarding course, Fearless Step. You can take it as an accompaniment to actually watch the lesson first, take what I give you, practice on the water, and then if you wanted to, you can even go and get a professional stand-up paddleboard lesson, and I'll just be there inside of you, cheering you on from afar. Because you don't have to wait until you're fearless to start taking action. You just have to paddle anyways. You need to look forward, whether even if you're shaky and you're breathless, but know that forward is the only direction that you need to move towards. So I hope this episode moved you. I want you to make sure that you subscribe, leave a review if you've tried something or you're needing some cheerleading for something you've always wanted to try and you're just letting fear take the best of you. Share it with a friend who needs to hear this. And until next time, gorgeous, please keep paddling forward because you have the power to steer your own course. Thanks for paddling through this episode with me. If today's conversation moves something in you, share it. Tag me at Anacani Walters or at Fat Mermaids, or drop a review to help this ripple reach more hearts. Remember, healing isn't linear, wellness isn't one size fits all, and you don't have to navigate any of it alone. Keep breathing, keep trusting, and no matter what wave you're riding, keep paddling forward. I'll meet you here next time.